There we go. So we are now going to jump into our next panel here. So I think Gary Myers and David Carter are going to be coming to the stage to talk about some of these blended learning tools. So we'll give them just one moment to come, and while they're joining, I'm just going to share just a very brief video here. Okay, I'm getting better and better at this every single time. So here we go.
Our company is PSEG, which is Public Service Enterprise Group. What we do is we provide electricity and natural gas to millions of New Jerseyans. I like to think of us as a company that is responsible for building and maintaining and operating infrastructure that brings people warmth, comfort, and light. But the end game is always the same. It's basically to allow people to live the lifestyle they want to.
I'm coming back, and I think we're just waiting for Gary and David, so just bear with me one moment. I'm going to go backstage and bring them live.
All right. Well, welcome. I'm Gary Myers with Vernier Software Technology, and my colleague David Carter is here with us. I'm our Director for Business Development and Outreach for Vernier, and I'll let David introduce himself in a moment. We just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about some of the remote resources that are available to teachers and students, both elementary, middle school, high school, college, that Vernier has to offer. If you don't know Vernier, we are a technology company founded about 40 years ago by David and Christine Vernier. David is a physics teacher, taught physics and started developing equipment in his garage to measure his experiments. His equipment was handmade, hand-wired together, and he wrote the software on a Mac Apple IIe computer, pre-Mac days. And it has built us into really the leading business in providing digital data collection technology for teachers to use in their classrooms. We're in a different world right now. It's most of us, none of us are in our classrooms these days. So the equipment that we make are the physical devices, the sensors that you stick into the solutions, and you measure dissolved oxygen or pH or temperature, motion, as we have right there. And David will show you a couple of those devices in our presentation. But we're trying to, people aren't in schools, but we can still do data analysis and study, learn the science behind the data without necessarily having to get our germy fingers all over equipment. So David's going to take some time and talk to us about some of the resources that we have available, either for free or maybe there's a fee for some of them. And I'll turn it over to David Carter.
Okay, thanks, Gary. Like Gary said, I'm David Carter. I'm the STEM Training Director for Vernier. I have kind of a varied background. I started my teaching career teaching physics at the University of Mississippi, running the physics labs, and then later on taught middle school at one point, and then back in the Eisenhower days, ran an Eisenhower program. With a multi-university consortium working with math and science teachers back then. So. And I've been using Vernier probes. This is over 30 years that I've been doing it. So I've been with Vernier for about 8 years now. So that's who I am. And like Gary said, let's see. I need to see if I can do the present here. And I want to do, let's see. I want to do this. Go to screen. Go to the Vernier website. So is that what people see there, Gary? Do you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So I've just gone to Vernier.com, and so at the very top in the middle, we put some things for explore remote solutions. And so we've got several things going on here. And so let me just click there, and we can take a look at that. And so, knowing that, like Gary said, people's ability to get into schools and into labs, it's probably not going to be happening. We're like, how best can we do this? And so there are several resources here, and we actually did a webinar about it, and I did it a little while back that kind of covers some of this. We're doing a little shorter version of this. And so there are a variety of resources there. So a couple things right now. We've got the Vernier Video Analysis. It's an app that you can go, and students can use it for, say, doing motion, so doing physics, doing kinematics, and so they can use the app on their own device, their phones, their whatever. It's actually across 5 platforms. And we've got that available right now. It's normally done as a subscription. Now you can actually do it for free for some period of time. And so that's a really good resource to be able to go and try that out. I'll come back to the Pivot Interactives a little bit later, kind of maybe show you a little bit about that. But Pivot is a way of being able to show students really fairly technical experiments that have been put together, videoed with high-resolution video, and the students can go and watch different videos and interact with the data and choose variables that they might want to change and whatnot. So that's what that's about. And then, so that's those 2 things there. And then we really wanted to get into the part about the analyzing data at home. And so I'm going to go here to the view the video library. And what we've been doing is, knowing that students are not going to be able to get into class, we said, well, what experiments do we have data for that we can put up? And so we've been putting up hundreds of files where the students can access, or teachers and students can access the actual lab itself. And then we have the sample data available. And so we'll show you what that looks like here. So I'm going to go down here to just browse the library. And what you see here is kind of just a straight list of what we have, and it's actually broken up by different disciplines. So right now I'm on the biology tab, and so these are the experiments that we have data for these areas in biology. So you can scroll down, and some of it's advanced biology, some of it's our standard biology, and it's not every lab. There were certain labs that we were like, well, it doesn't really lend itself to the data analysis kind of outside of that situation, so they didn't put it up there. Though we have been adding some as we go. Some of them we didn't quite have data yet for that we were willing to share at that point. So you can see all of these different labs for biology are there, and then of course there's a tab for chemistry and physics, and then elementary, middle, and physical science, and so there are all these different kind of categories that we have available. And what happens is that let's say that we go to a physics one or something, and we want to, we see something we're interested in. We can go and we can see where it is, and then I'll show you in a second where you go to the actual file to download it. Now, another piece of this is that we've been working on doing introductory videos for the labs. And the idea is to kind of let the students know how the data were collected. We don't do the analysis for them, but you're kind of pointing them in the right direction so they know how it was done, and we set it up, and so they just know how it was done. And this is a little different for us because anytime we've had video resources, it's always really been aimed at the teacher and not really the student. And so this is a little bit more student focused, just to serve as an introduction there. So let me go back here, and so it just says, download experiments there. And what would happen is that it's going to take me back here, and I can scroll back down to the bottom, and here are where the files are. So if I go here, it ends up being a zip file that has all of those the topics that we saw listed, when it said browse the data, and it just downloads it as a zip file, and then you can offload it there. Now, what I'd like to do at this point, and since I'm sharing my screen, I've actually already downloaded it, and I'm going to open up the Vernier Physics folder here, and so you're looking at what the file there that's open that has the various things for physics, and like the biology I mentioned, the fact that it's got advanced and kind of different levels, so we've got the same thing here. So because we also know colleges are facing the same problem, so they're interested in maybe having data the students can analyze. So what I'll do is I'm going to open the tab for the Physics with Vernier book, and I'm going to go here to the ball toss, and there's two files. One of them says balltoss.ambl, and the other says balltoss. It's a doc file. So the doc file is the lab itself. So that's the instructions that the students might have used if they were actually in lab collecting the data. The file that says .ambl is a graphical analysis file. And graphical analysis is a free app available for 5 platforms, and it interacts with our sensors. And so the idea, since it's free, the students can download the app, and then if they have the data file, they can actually open that up and see what happens here. So I'll do this. I'll open up a doc file here, and let's just see what it looks like. So this would be what the actual lab is. And so, maybe a teacher says, well, here's the lab, and goes through the instructions of, how the data were collected, and then ask them to, what kinds of things are they measuring with that. And then, so that's what that's about. And then if I go here to the file here, if I go and try to open this up, it actually launches the Graphical Analysis app for that. And let's see, I do need to go back here to do it this way, though. So since I've got all the files out here, they get kind of jumbled up a little bit for me. And so let's see, I want ball toss. There it is. So, and so this is the actual data that were collected. Make that a little bit bigger there. I'll take the whole screen, but so the upper graph, we got a position graph and a velocity graph at the bottom. So the idea with this one was that somebody actually took the motion detector like this and a ball and tossed it over there to be able to collect the data. Now at this point, let's see here. If I do this, what I wanted to do is to show the video that we did connected to this. Now, hopefully we're going to get sound with this. We had a little issue earlier. We're not exactly sure if we're going to get everything we intended to get. But so I've already downloaded a video for this. And so let me open it up. If we can get it going there.
This is the ball toss lab from Physics with Vernier.
In the back.
And in this lab, the data were collected using a GoDirect motion detector.
Sitting in the back.
The way this device works is it sends out a pulse of ultrasound, so it goes out and bounces off an object and comes back. So it's measuring.
Let me stop that one there for a second. Put a few things away here and get lots of stuff on my desk.
So, David, your video is coming across just.
Oh, is it? Okay, great. Oh, you were seeing it? Or hearing it? Okay. I'm not seeing it. That's the weird part.
How far away the object is from the detector. In this case, the object is a ball, and the person doing the experiment would put it on the detector on its back, and they threw the ball in the air over the motion detector. And what we see in the data set is a graph, 2 graphs, and the upper graph is position versus time, and the lower graph is the velocity versus time. And from this, we can discern the acceleration due to gravity as the ball is flying through the air. So let me show you how to do some of the analysis. One important piece of this one is that you want to analyze the part of the data that occurred when the ball was actually in flight, free fall, which is just that center section there. So to do that, what you have to do is highlight the region of the graph, and you just do that by clicking and dragging. And so that section of the graph is what would be analyzed with the software. And then likewise, you could do the same thing at the bottom, where you would highlight the region of the graph when the ball was in free fall. To demonstrate maybe what the curve fit would look like, I will go up here and over to the Graph Tools section on the left, click there, and the lab has you select a curve fit, and we have different choices here, and I might try that and apply the curve fit. And so this lab is analyzing uniformly accelerated motion using the Graphical Analysis software and the GoDirect motion detector.
Okay. So again, the idea is to introduce them, and we've been working on more and more of these, to try to get videos for almost every one of those files that we have. And I think there's over 300 files available, I think now. And it keeps growing. So that is a good resource for being able to do things away from the classroom there. So let's see here. So I wanted to go back and let's go back to the remote solutions here and do a little bit about the Pivot Interactives. And so if I go to Pivot, let's see, we can go there. So again, right now we've got it. So there's a free trial, but the way Pivot is done, it's done as a kind of a per seat license, and so you can sign up for a free trial to try it out, and so you can at least be able to do that. And then what I want to do here is, let's see, I had a tab open that I want to share here, so let's go to Pivot Interactives. And what I thought I would do here is go to, let's see, where do I want to go here? There's a nice little, well, let's see. Let me back up here. Here we go. This is the little video, the introductory video that Peter, this was developed by a classroom teacher in Minnesota who started doing these high resolution videos in labs, and as it grew, it became pretty obvious that it needed some support, and so that's why we ended up teaming up with him to be able to do this. So let's take a quick look at that video, and he'll introduce it to you.
Pivot Interactives gives teachers new tools for science learning. Using high-resolution video, students can explore and analyze more than 100 different scenarios as they learn and apply science beyond the walls of their classroom. Interactive measurement tools allow students to decide what and how to measure. Interactive instructions, data tables, and graphing let students use real data to discover the patterns in nature. The Pivot Player user interface allows students to control and vary the scenario, creating and executing their own experiments. Teachers can either use pre-made activities from our library of over 100, modify the activities, or create their own. Teachers assign these activities to their students, who can work alone or in collaboration, using any web-connected device.
So, that's kind of the quick introduction to the Pivot. And he mentions there's over 100. When that's the video is a little bit old there, because I know there are way more than that. And it started off as a physics app, but there's chemistry, and they're busy adding a lot of biology to that too. So it's multiple different platforms there. So let's see here. Gary, can you think of other stuff that we might want to show?
Did we talk about Vernier video analysis?
Oh yeah, I mentioned it, but I didn't really go into it. So let me go and let me go back to that one. Thank you. So let's go back here. So the video analysis, we just go back to Vernier.com. So what I mentioned about it was that the video analysis, let's go here, and the way it works is that the students can take video and from the video be able to analyze motion there. So and this kind of gets you going there. I'll just show the quick little get started video on that one.
Hello, welcome to Vernier Video Analysis. In order to get started, if you haven't already started your free trial, that's the first thing you need to do. So navigate to www.vernier.com/product/video analysis or click on the link below in the video description. This will land you on this page where if you scroll down, you'll be able to request your extended free trial, which is good through June of 2020. Click on the Free Trial tab and fill out the form. Please agree to the End User License Agreement, or EULA. This will allow you to get started as soon as possible with your students. Once you've submitted your form, you should get an email that looks a lot like this. But your free trial is not for 30 days unless today is May 30th.
And it's longer than that
This
now.
link here will give you access to your 30-day free trial. Go ahead and click it, and that's how you'll get started. Once you've clicked on the link in the email, you'll get to this screen. Your license key is already entered, so all you have to do is click Submit. You are now ready to analyze a video. Let's choose from one of our sample videos. We have 6 currently. Let's do basketball shot. Before I add a point and advance the video, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to advance the video to where the ball is in free motion, and I'm going to change the video options so that I'm adding a point every 2 frames instead of every 1 frame. This makes it go quicker for me. Choose a place on the basketball, or whatever your object is, and mark that point consistently. Notice that all of my measurements are in px, or pixels. I want to add an actual scale. So we have a meter stick in the shot, so I'm going to move the scale bar over to the meter stick. That puts my measurement in meters. I'm also going to move the origin of my axes to that very first dot that I made. Okay, this looks good. Oh, except this doesn't look quite the way I want it to. I'm going to go and edit that. Ooh, now I see it. It looks like I put this in the wrong place. I'm going to go back to that particular point, and I'm going to move it to where it belongs. Notice when I move it, I get a trash can at the bottom of the screen. I could delete that point entirely if I wanted to, but I don't want to. I just want to fix it. Looks all better now. Okay, I'm now interested in analyzing my graph. Here's my graph. It's a little bit small. I can make it bigger 2 ways. I can use the handles to move it like so, or I can just get rid of the other elements on the screen, the video and the data table. There we go. I'm interested in analyzing the motion of my projectile. I'd like to start with the horizontal velocity. I can get that 2 ways. So in order to do both graphs at once, I'm going to show 2 graphs and make this one the horizontal velocity graph, and then my upper one is my horizontal position graph. I can get the slope of the horizontal position graph by choosing to add a curve fit. Let's choose a linear one. All right, not bad. Let's take a look at the horizontal velocity graph. That looks kind of weird. I'm going to do a couple things. First, I'm going to edit the graph options so that I'm always scaling from 0. That evens it out a lot. Second of all, I'm going to, instead of doing a linear fit, I'll choose to view the statistics. And the statistics will show me the average and the standard deviation, as well as the minimum and maximum. So my average is 2.243 meters per second with a standard deviation of 0.157. I get a slope of 2.197. 2.197 is pretty close to 2.243. So we're getting pretty much the same value either way. I'm also interested in the vertical velocity. I can choose to show the vertical position instead of the horizontal position, get rid of my linear fit, and I can show the vertical velocity on this graph. This looks kind of like a parabola. I'm going to choose a quadratic fit. All right, I get a value for the first term in the quadratic of negative 4.533. All right, and then for my vertical velocity, I'm going to put a linear fit on. And the slope is negative 8.926. Well, if you multiply negative 4.533 by 2, you get something close to negative 8.926. How about that? I hope you enjoyed this little tour of Vernier Video Analysis.
So we give you the little tour there, and get that one back there. So, again, we've got lots of different, let me see, go back to term present. So there are a lot of different options that we have there, and as we're going forward, we're still looking at adding things, kind of seeing where we are. Some people are working on kind of a hybrid model where, students, may take some data in a class, but then have other ones where they're doing just using the sample data and whatnot. So we're just trying to be here to support what's going on in science education and STEM, and that's where we all are right now.
Another thing that we make available to schools is just trainings and support. We do free webinars. We have a more complex version of what David just presented on our website right now. You could click on again if you haven't had enough of David Carter yet today. You can watch that. But we also will do customized training. So these are new tools. These are new ways of teaching that we're all kind of building this plane as we're flying it and learning as we go. So we're happy to help you out with ongoing support and training. And we're a company of about 115 people. We have probably 30 or 40 content specialists in our office that know this stuff inside and out and are happy to help out. So we really just want to help teachers get through this time period. But, if there's innovative ways that we can help move forward beyond this COVID era, then I think this is going to give us all a chance to innovate, do something new and different.
Well, great. I just appear here, so Thank you both so much. Was there any other?
I didn't even wait for you to give us an introduction. We just jumped right into it. Sorry about that.
You know what? And I think that's been working best there. So, it kind of keeps the screen flow a little bit easier there and also makes it run a little bit smoother. So, I really do want to encourage all of the participants. I think in this age of remote learning that we had and now going into what we're so-called calling blended learning, or I like to call it the unknown learning because we don't know what we're going to be doing. Vernier has these amazing resources. And so if you go to both their booth or their sponsor or just reach out to Gary or David, they're a wealth of information and they really are here to help teachers. And, kudos to switching everything so quickly there. So thank you both.
You bet. I'm sad that I'm not in Florida with you all this year again, but I'm going to be popping in and out of sessions. You'll see my name on the participant list throughout the next few days. So do feel free to reach out or grab me if you want to chat more.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys either can drop backstage or hit that leave button and then come back in on that other link there. All right. And so now we are going to have our next speakers come on board. So I'm going to jump behind stage again. Even though this is virtual, I still feel like there's a lot of moving parts here. So just bear with us, and we're going to switch presentations here. I'm very excited to have the National Academies with us. All right, we do have a 5-minute break. I forgot about that. So at that particular point, I'm going to give a plug to hop into the lounge real quick, try to meet some new friends there. I've had a lot of fun sitting at the various tables. So be back and ready to go at 1:50.